Now, I've been, watching YouTube for the last week, and Glad posted a video saying this is the truth PvP players don't want to hear, right? And I see every single YouTuber that does some sort of Destiny content react to it. I'm not gonna react to it, I'm just gonna tell you what I understood. Because honestly, I like Glad, right? And I agree with his opinion, but the whole video, from what I watched, was this is the truth people don't want to hear. Destiny 2 is a PvE game with a PvP aspect to it, right? But let's go back a little. Let's go back a few years to Destiny 1 when Bungie said, you know, PvP is really popular. A lot of people seem to enjoy Trials of Osiris. And it was. A lot of players enjoyed it, a lot of people played it, and it wasn't as sweaty as it used to be back then. But in D1, there was a lot of people who used to DDoS people if necessary. And that was just to get those flawless cards done and get them carries done, do recovs all weekend, earn that money that they wanted. And this wasn't bannable at the time. Of course, DOSing was bannable, but doing something like a recov wasn't bannable at the time, right? And I'm not gonna go into all of this because personally, this just sounds like rumors. There's no clear evidence over this, so I'm just not gonna go into it. But in the end, Bungie ended up saying, no, we can't do recovs anymore, which I think was personally a good thing because that encourages players to play on their own and don't pay for other people to do stuff. Of course, for the people who do the business model of recovs, they're gonna suffer. And instead, they're gonna choose to do other things like, cheat carries and stuff like that, even if they did cheat recovs beforehand. And yeah, there are people who do cheat like carries and stuff like that, 5 minute cards, whatever it may be. I'm not gonna say there wasn't Bungie devs who took advantage over the recov thing and all of that. So there's definitely some players that are in a green zone because Bungie can't really ban them because you never know what those players did to Bungie devs. And for as much as Destiny 2 is a PvE game, the PvP aspect of the game is so unbelievably popular. For me, that's what brings in the most YouTube content, at least what I've noticed. All Destiny 2 content that I see on YouTube is PvP. Now, that might be because, I'm a PvP YouTuber and that's all I upload, so that's what I get recommended. But I don't even watch any Destiny YouTube, I'm gonna be honest with you. It just doesn't excite me. I watch my own videos mainly because I have to rewatch them to even understand what the fuck I said. But yeah, I really don't watch any of it. And this leads up to me being out of touch with other content creators. I don't try to interact with them at all. If if the only person I've managed to get contact with is Synchro, and he is a very nice person. Now, even though my comments always hate on him and all of that, I really do like Synchro. He is such a nice person, such a funny streamer. Even if everyone doesn't get his jokes, he's really really funny. And I'm not gonna go out of my way anymore to try to interact with other Destiny 2 content creators because seeing the backlash that Synchro got from my comment sections and stuff like that just doesn't motivate me. I don't want to see them get harassed by you guys because you guys didn't get the joke. And I'm not going to go out of my way to collab with other Destiny content creators unless they reach out to me anymore. It's just the fact. So literally, if you are interested in my content, if you ever want to do a collab, want to talk to me, my Discord link will be in the description, and it's really easy to message me or send me a friend request or whatever. But let's go back to the main focus of the video. So, as Destiny 1 came to a halt, Destiny 2 got announced. So, Destiny 2 had a little bit of a change. It had something I called a perfect meta problem, where nothing was so broken that there was a problem, and which made the gameplay really boring. And if you don't believe me, you can go back and check. I think the most broken thing at the time was Synthoceps. And the average melee was 3 punches, and Synthoceps could get it down to 1 if you had enough people around. But the D1 vanilla meta was so balanced that there wasn't any problems. Of course, there's always problems with every single meta, but it was. For this game, there was nothing. And people found it really stale, but it worked really well for a competitive aspect. And even if you didn't like it, You can't say it was bad. Just because it wasn't your kind of way, it doesn't mean the meta is, useless. It's not fun. For people who enjoy those type of competitive experiences, that's what you're after. And Bungie saw that people did not like it whatsoever. So they said, okay, Destiny 2 could not be a competitive scene. Of course, the scrim scene will always be different, but now I don't know how true this is, but Bungie has other interests, so they are not gonna make it grow. And from people I've talked to who does scrims and stuff like that, they can agree it's Bungie's fault that the scene is not bigger. They need to invest money into, a competitive aspect of the game if they want a competitive aspect of the game. It's not you, not me, but Bungie. And of course, we can say all of our opinion as much as we want. That is Bungie's job, not our job. And every game who has a competitive scene tend to grow a lot bigger than, it was beforehand. A lot of players are really interested in competitive aspects, even if it's not your type of sauce. Notice how most of the big games out there are more competitive games. You have Valorant, Fortnite, I don't fucking know, Apex. Personally, I've never been a fan of like competitive battle royales, but it tended to work, so I'm not gonna say that they're doing something wrong. But with the fact that the meta was so perfect in year one, Bungie said, fuck it, we're changing it up, and made everything so unbelievably unbalanced compared to the year one meta that people were having fun again. Sure, the kill time was a little bit slow with 4 shots with the hand cannon to kill someone, but the one thing you didn't have to get worried about was the fact that you had to get bullshitted to get killed. And this all changed when Forsaken came out, by changing the slot where shotgun and snipers, fusion rifles, grenade launchers were in. So shotguns had an unbelievable range because they were intended as heavy weapons, and snipers will always have the craziest shit because, they are the one-shotting bullet from anywhere in the map, which is why snipers are really unbalanced. But of course, people are not going to change that, but since people love snipers in video games, even how broken they are. Destiny was originally based off console, so controller is always going to be the better input for the game. Even if you say, oh, it's just another mouse and keyboard player complaining. No. Destiny 2 is meant to be played on a controller. Whether you like it or not, whether you don't want to accept that fact, that's just how it's supposed to be played. And for people who choose mouse and keyboard, they do put themselves at a disadvantage. Whether you agree with me or not, that's just facts. And you're probably going to be thinking, he's going to say aim assist and stuff like that. But the more and more we grow as, a gaming community, people find better and better ways to use a controller. People can use everything from macros to everything that you can think about on a controller. And with games increasing their FPS scale, the, aim assist stickiness scales with it. And it's true, that's how aim assist with controllers work. The higher the frames are, the better, the stronger the stickiness is, which puts controllers at an advantage more and more every single time something happens. The more the year passes by, controllers get a bigger advantage. And I don't know a solution to it. I literally don't. That's why, I always thought the best solution was to split the pools between mouse and keyboard and controller, and then have one mixed with everyone. Instead of locking some players over from the others, like saying console players can play with mouse and keyboard players. That one is silly to me because as more and more people are getting new gen consoles, more and more, and the difference between a PC and a new gen console is so minimal. The only thing Bungie needs to do is allow mouse and keyboard inputs on console, and there is literally no issues to be seen. But of course, Bungie's priorities is Bungie's priorities, and if they don't find that as a necessary step, then they don't have to do anything like that. I'm just basing on my opinion on what I think, could be a nice change. And after Forsaken came out, there's been a lot of questionable, exotics released, like One-Eyed Mask, and some questionable weapons released, like Recluse and Mountaintop, Revoker, Not Forgotten, and stuff like that. But when you think about it, all these weapons are getting outclassed every single year. It went from Redrix to Messenger. Messenger is definitely better than Redrix. But if you're talking pre-nerf Redrix to Messenger, I still think Redrix is better. Of course, you can't beat the 182 tapping. You can't beat the Recluse killing people in a 0.2 seconds. You can't beat Mountaintop fucking killing someone across the map with a GL. Because there's no other GLs with micro missile that shot like Mountaintop used to do back in the day. The problem isn't really weapons, in my opinion. I don't think the weapons are the biggest issue with the game. I think it's more of the fact that Bungie is pushing out different ways for abilities to work. The way the subclass 2.0 worked was, in my opinion, the better way, where we had 3 trees and there wasn't anything really unbalanced after the 30th anniversary been out. But once we went over to Witch Queen, we started to see a lot of flaws with the 3.0 system. You have a good example. Stasis Warlock has always been broken, whether you like it or not. There's a reason it got disabled like 10 times within the first 3 weeks it was out. And Void 3.0 has a lot of dumb abilities, like now you have an overshield on command, you have a child that weakens and slows targets, you have 900 million smoke bombs on a hunter. Of course, you can't get wall hacks as much as you want anymore because they kinda did butcher that one, but if you use Gyrfalcon and a void weapon, you will always have wall hacks on kills. It's even better than what it used to be because we used to have to use precision weapon and crouch when you killed someone. Knockout, Arc Titan has been severely buffed, whether you think of it or not. They might have removed the damage increase on sliding over a brick, but now you have infinite melees, you can do whatever the fuck you want, you're faster, and you're constantly amplified, which makes you run faster, take less damage, you can get resistance being close to enemies, you can increase your melee damage by being punched, which used to be a hunter only thing. They constantly keep giving us more and more broken stuff to every class. Of course, it allows for more variety, but when you give us such strong abilities, there's going to be less variety because there's nothing to choose between. Because why use that when this is better? Because that's just how a lot of the fragments and aspects work. Destiny 2 has a really bad issue with dumb gimmick builds that's just so unbelievably broken, which is why the PvP sandbox will never be balanced. And I honestly think that's the biggest issue Destiny has. I don't think it's the weapons that's the problem. Weapon gunplay feels great. If you take away the shitty servers and the poor matchmaking, then the biggest issue is the fucking abilities that allows you to one-shot someone from across the map for no fucking reason. Of course, there's a lot of abilities I'm happy they removed, like old Inertia Override was a little bit ridiculous. It allowed you to 2-tap with Ace of Spades after every single kill. You have Arc Web that literally chained between people until they died and there was nothing you could do about it, and run. You had Frontal Assault that increased your weapon damage upon proccing Knockout. Yeah, and you know Knockout is not hard because the only way you used to proc Knockout was break someone's shield. Didn't have to punch them, you just had to break someone's shield. And it gave you increased melee damage, melee regen on melee kills, and the weapon boost. You have old Sunspots, which used to kill you in split seconds because it did 175 damage per tick. You have old handheld Supernova, which used to one-shot you from across the map. Like, I know abilities might seem broken now, but there's a lot of abilities they just said, nah, we're out. These are just broken. We know this, so we're gonna remove them. But they don't need to add stronger ones at the same time. But I don't think Destiny 2 is a dead game. I don't think the PvP is dead yet. Bungie kinda has to let it keep growing. And I think that's what they're gonna do later on this year by showing us. I haven't read through the full TWAB yet, I've just heard a few things. And it looks really promising, but they're focusing too much on weapons and not too much on abilities. Because honestly, that's my realist opinion by having thousands of hours in PvP. It's definitely abilities that's the issue. But like I said, Bungie literally can't let Destiny die, even if it seems like that because of Marathon. They literally can't. Destiny 2 is the only game that gives them any revenue of any sort, and they literally can't sacrifice the only game they have for them for a game they haven't released yet. because for what they know, the game might flop. Of course, they're putting a lot of effort at the marathon, but that doesn't mean they have to stop putting effort into Destiny. And we'll see where Destiny take a turn after Final Shape. I'm hoping for a Destiny 3 personally, and a new start to literally everyone. I think it would be a healthy change of pace. And since Destiny's so old, everyone has basically understood Destiny to its fullest. There's nothing really new to learn, unless it's like your gun skill or your aim or whatever, awareness. There's always things to improve on, but except for that, there isn't any big changes to, improve on, like there was back in year 1 in Forsaken, when everyone wasn't gods at the game. It's the same issue Fortnite has. The reason Fortnite seems so sweaty is because the only people that still plays it are unbelievably fucking cracked at their mind. Because Fortnite is slightly younger than Destiny. There's not a big age difference between Destiny 2 and Fortnite. Because I started playing it when it was still in pre-season 1, and that was right after Destiny 2's release. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this different type of video, and I hope you understand where I'm coming from at least. Don't try to harass me because of my opinion. I just think that's the biggest issue with Destiny at the moment, and I don't think Destiny 2 PvP is dead. Even if all these PvE players say so, whatever, or if you see all these people retiring from the game, Bungie can't make the biggest change overnight. I'm not giving Bungie credit or any hate for what they've done. They have been trying at least to give us the updates that we want, but with 500 million opinions on a game, it's hard for them to choose what's the best and what's the wrong. And that's just how hard it is to be making a video game. They can't just say, okay guys, let's do this overnight and then see how it goes, and if it doesn't work, we just revert the change instantly. They can't be doing that. They don't have the workforce, or they literally can't do that. So they have to implement the change, plan it from months ahead of schedule, and then they have to see how it goes. And if it goes bad, then fuck, they fucked up. And if it goes good, then great, this is something people like. Because if 900 dads say something about the game, and then 3 PvP veterans say something about the game, they have to choose between the majority, not the minority. Because that's how you keep the most players. Even if the other players have been sticking around since the game came out, it doesn't matter. They're looking to make money, and that's just the sad reality of video game production. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys around. Goodbye. If you want to support my channel even further, checking out my Patreon would mean a lot, and making montage videos and stuff like that doesn't make me any money whatsoever, so it does suffer my pockets whenever I make them, but they're fun to make, so I'll keep making them. But yeah, my Patreon will be in the description, and all my other links, my Twitch, my Discord, whatever, and I'll see you guys around. Goodbye.